In this episode of the Trisbrina Show, we're going to be talking about how to release that big pile of suck from your mind and body.
That's
once
right.
and for all.
We're going to get the issues out of the tissues. We're going to be talking about how to upgrade the mind and the brain and the body. And what do you do with those feelings, those distorted feelings? How can you convert those and turn them into bliss in the body?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good place to start.
Well, I'm going to start like the pre-show. And the pre-show is, I just want to say, notice how we're talking about something that could be classified as heavy or bad or sad or dampening. It's the poop that's holding you back. But if you approach everything from a place of light and love and a sense of humor, even when it is a situation that is something you don't want, so that you can transform it, the transformation is going to happen so much faster, right? When we can look at ourselves and laugh at ourselves and make light of the situation to the best of our ability, because we can't change what's already happened, the catalyst for changing the future is so much bigger and brighter.
That's why we used the emoji, the poo-poo emoji, because we wanted to make you chuckle a little bit about it and sort of soften the edges. It's a soft one. You know, when you start working on yourself and you start finding your triggers and your old reactionary self and the ego, and it can feel so harsh, and you can end up almost beating up on yourself, or, you know, kind of getting into a heavy place, like you said, and like, oh, I got to work through this shit.
And if it isn't that, then it's probably the opposite, where you feel the victim of someone else's heaviness, someone else's lack of attention, someone else's whatever it is, and you feel the victim of it. But do you see that it's the same thing? It's the same thing whether you feel that you're the thrower of the shapoopy or the catcher of the shapoopy.
Did you go shapoopy? Yesterday we were around some folks who were talking about some stuff that's pretty intense. It felt kind of heavy. It was about AI and all the, you know, like and they weren't being glooms, dooms. They were saying, hey, let's be awake, let's be aware, and all of that. And it hit me, like I started to feel my energy shift, and I could feel like, oh, this is intense. And then I realized and remembered, whatever I focus upon expands.
So just so you understand, we were talking about AI, artificial intelligence, which is an incredible tool that we can all use to grow our business, or to write a letter, or to get ideas, or whatever you want. It's like Google on steroids, but the conversation was about what if artificial intelligence gets smarter than the humans controlling it, and then what happens.
Cyborgs.
So there's a lot of conversation like that. And that's
but we don't mean to take this conversation down there. My point was, whatever you focus upon, you give it energy, and therefore it expands, it gets bigger. So when it comes to releasing and working on yourself, you have to be really careful to not keep poking the poo and keep getting it all over yourself, right? Because that's going to cause it to expand. So yes, identify it. Yes, see it. Let's talk about that word releasing, because it's got a lot of interesting components to it. Releasing. So the most simple version is you have something and you let it go, right? But when you release it, when you let it go, what does that do for you? Right? Is that a heavy thing? Well, it's actually a lot lighter, because it was heavy carrying.
Let's think of some examples. You have a shoe that laces up and you tie it pretty tight because you're going to work out. And then when you take that shoe off, sometimes for me, it feels like I'm releasing my foot. Or, oh my goodness, do you remember when we were in the days where we would wear stilettos and pumps? My goodness, when you released your feet from that, it was just glorious. Or what about when you actually release, like with a bowel movement? It feels so good,
you had to
right?
take it there.
No, you just to let something go like that. Or, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, no, and sometimes you push, right, to release. That hurts.
But a sneeze,
that's working too hard for
sometimes
it.
a sneeze can feel like the most amazing release. Or the body is always trying to release. It burps, it yawns, it's constantly trying to release any tightness.
You never know where this show's
Or the clicks or the pops, right? You're moving through your day, you move a certain way, and your hip goes, and it just released that tightness.
Well, what about when you expand and grow, like the shoe, and your foot's become bigger than the shoe, And you need to really release that. Sometimes there's identities that are old and you've grown. Your old story is too tight, and you need to release those old identities to birth or to allow that which is already birthing through, right? Sort of like the snake shedding the skin. It's got to come off. So that's one thing. That's a natural phenomenon. It's time for that to go. And then there's the real conscious releasing, like you identify, I'm holding on to this thing. Why am I holding on to it? For so many different reasons, but some kind of fear, usually some kind of angst, some kind of control. Yeah. And you identify, ooh, this is not coming from, let's say, love or from peace or from freedom. It's coming from fear or reactivity or control. And you get to a point where you're like, I'm willing to release this, because when I do, you have enough awareness, enough consciousness to know that you're going to rise as you release.
What about a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, we were ready to take the garden, the flower bed in the front of our yard, and cut back everything that had died in the winter and the ice storm and figure out what was alive and what wasn't. And as we were moving things around with the man that was going to help us with this, there's a big snake in there. This big snake. And so we were like, ooh, back away. And then when we went back later, when he came back to do the work, what was there? No snake, but a whole snake skin. He had totally released his skin. Why?
Why? You tell us.
Well, I'm not a snake expert, but I would say because the snake was evolving and growing and going into the next season. I like to say the next chapter of its life. So it left behind the old in order to be the new. And the new is always, when we release something, I feel that by the time we're ready to release and let go of a pain, a habit, a limiting belief, a chronic pain, by the time we're really ready to let go, what we need underneath is already there. Or we wouldn't feel like we could let go. By the time we're ready to let go of that limited belief, the new belief is already growing and maturing. Or I don't think we would feel comfortable letting it go, even though it's scary. Or to let go of a certain thing. It's because we've already been conjuring up the new belief that we want, the new level of experience that we want, the new feeling in our body. Are you a snake expert?
I am not. Well, maybe I am, because I'm constantly releasing old selves. I love letting go of who I thought I was and allowing the new that you're speaking about to birth itself through. And isn't that just such a beautiful thing, that there's a wisdom inside, there's an inner wise self that's constantly expanding the more you feed it, the more you give it, invite it to birth newness through us, through new desire, through new vision, through new possibility, through visioning, yeah? And then as that births, the shedding has to take place. There's old idea, old self there. And what if this is a natural phenomenon?
It is.
To actually get comfortable with the discomfort of releasing, right? And almost like, oh, I'm so on track right now. I feel this tightness. I feel this constriction. I'm about ready to release that because something new is coming through.
Yeah.
And if you can catch it like that and reframe, which I really think is remembering what's really going on as you're growing, then you'll be more likely to not judge the journey of releasing, and you'll see like, oh, wow, I'm about to pop through into a new me.
Yeah.
Now, we talk about releasing issues from the tissues, releasing them, opening up the body to allow more energy to flow through, which is a really beautiful way to approach releasing, because then it's done as a daily practice. You're constant, because, well, let's talk about this as well in this conversation. Your identity and your mind, most people think is in their brain. These are my thoughts are in here. But as most of y'all know around here, you Satorians, that your mind is in your body as well. So your mind is constantly expanding or wanting to expand in your body. And new desires are wanting to birth through. But if you are holding and have tension and issues, meaning old stuff, trapped in the body, you're not giving it permission to expand, and you're not allowing that energy to flow. And if the energy gets blocked, we have disruptions that cut you off from your heart, right? Does that make sense? Like when you're all jacked up in your body, it's going to cause more fear and reactivity and stress and angst. It's hard to feel into the heart center, which is where that inner wise self wants to guide you from.
And we are releasing, whether we want to or not, all day long, every day. Like cells are leaving our body and we don't even notice. You know, our hair is growing. You know, the scalp is releasing. The body is constantly releasing physically. But to join in the partnership of actually taking time to see what thoughts and feelings, physical feelings as well as emotional feelings, am I holding on to that I could go ahead and shed? That so that why would you do that? So that the fresh could come. So our flower garden where the snake was, it was filled with a lot of dead, these tall grasses that grow in Texas that we had planted. There was no room for new to grow, and so they gave them a buzz cut. They all looked like they were going to the military, didn't they?
They got
like,
a buzz
they,
cut.
they got a crew cut. And then, boom, all of a sudden, all of this new stuff started sprouting up. And that's what's so beautiful about when we do intentionally release and what can feel like cutting back. What it can feel like sometimes when I get my hair cut, I'm like, oh, you're going to take 4 inches off. That took so long to grow. But then when you do, it's clean, it's fresh, it's healthy.
Stimulated. So good. There's another really cool way to look at angst or issues in the body, feelings that are tight. They're indicators letting you know how close or how far away you are from connecting to that inner wise self, right? So what do we mean by the inner wise self? I think we've all experienced at one point or another where we felt completely present, almost like you're in a state of serenity.
Like when might that happen to someone?
When you're hugging your sweetheart, when you're watching a sunset, when you're watching a little hummingbird drink from the flower.
Child.
You're just walking along.
Grandchild.
Yeah, and you're just present. You're flowing with some qigong, or you're sitting in a meditation, or you're listening to some beautiful music, and you just and your vibration goes up and your heart melts or opens, and you just feel complete, and you have this sense of all is well, and you know that all is well. Like you're not thinking, you're feeling safe, comforted, home. It's just so beautiful, right? So and then sometimes you'll feel like, at least I experience, we call them satori, the way they come from the heart and they go up into the brain. You get an upload and you like, oh, you see something new for the first time. You have massive clarity. And that's that inner wise self actually awakening and guiding you. So that is your natural state. So angst or negative feelings or thoughts are just letting you know how close or how far away you are from being aligned to that.
Yeah. I had an incredible experience yesterday. Wow, it seems like a month ago. And I was running around. I was just getting home from an appointment outside of the house, and I had a one-on-one with a client that I'm working with on leveling up his ability to be on camera and speak from the stage. And I always try to get to the appointment at least like 3 minutes early so I can set up everything. And I just got my phone and I turned on a classical song, some Chopin, that a lot of it that I used to listen to when I did ballet. And then he texted me and said, you know, I've got to finish a deal I'm doing. Give me 3 or 4 minutes. So I got to listen to 2 songs. And you actually came in the room for a minute.
I poked my head in to make sure everything was...
And I was just riding the music and realizing in that. And I was intentionally going like... and that I was trying to drop in and let go of anything that was frantic or fast from the day so that I could really be present to this gentleman that I was about to work with. And as I did that, I started writing the melody. And Chopin is so complex. I'm writing the piano, but then I hear the horns. And as I'm waiting, I start feeling so much love and so much gratitude. And I was overwhelmed with this sweetness of remembering in the middle of the day, it was 3 o'clock, what really matters. And my eyes got like full of water. And I'm like, oh, he's going to show up and be like, are you okay? And I'm going to be like, I'm so good. But just, I was releasing in that moment, just the rush of the day. I was releasing any amnesia regarding what's important and what isn't. And so I was so happy to do that, because from that place of, I was so in love. I was so in love with writing the melody of this music and being so present and so grateful that I could tap my genius. And I helped this client so much because I didn't have any distractions. And that's what's so beautiful about releasing what you don't need, because then there's space for God. There's space for genius.
I love listening to that.
There's space for such imagination and space for playfulness. So that's the great thing about, when you declutter your mind, you make space for things that are more important to you now. Because sometimes when we release and declutter, we're letting go of things that no longer serve us. They are no longer relatable to who we are. It's old crap.
The
right?
old skin.
It's got mildew on it. It's crusty. It's last season's fashion. We can let it go when it creates this vacuum for the nowness.
I love the way Sabrina described that, because releasing in that context doesn't sound difficult at all, does it? So it doesn't have to be this heavy sledgehammer. I'm releasing this thing, right? Like, I'm purging, I'm screaming. Like, I get it. There's primal releasing. There's different styles of releasing. But your releasing felt like allowing.
Because you walked in on it.
Yeah, I saw it. But you were just allowing that which is most natural to come to the foreground. And so we're, like you said, releasing the busyness of the day, etc. So if this can be like this beautiful ongoing dance of releasing into now, allowing more, tapping in, listening to inner guidance, then what happens is you completely change your body state, because you don't have issues in the tissues anymore. You're not feeding stress into the body, you're feeding the body bliss. And so you're building a bliss body. And a bliss body is a really cool thing to have, because it's vibrating at the highest frequency. And you all that do energy work know that your body is a broadcast station. And so you're sending out a signal. We're all sending out information, energy, but you're broadcasting bliss.
Yeah.
And that is the highest frequency, bliss, love, joy, right?
Yeah.
Connected to universal intelligence. When you're in that information state, you are in your genius, and you're allowing that genius to work through you.
Yeah.
And what an incredible alignment that is, because now it's almost like, you call it the candy cane consciousness. There's a blended thing going on. There's you and you, right? There's no controller. There's no little fear-based ego.
Yeah.
There's no old story. There's something that's so comforting. Yesterday when we were at this mastermind, we go around the room, it's called popcorn style, and everybody has a win or a share or an ask. And in the past, I have felt some angst in my body when it's my turn to share. Maybe you guys can relate. Oh, you're going to...
And you don't know when it's your turn. They
call
surprise you.
And you have to say who you are and what you do and all that. And, you think you're measuring up against other people, all that nonsense. And so I listen to my body like a barometer, and I can feel what's going on. Is my mind or the mind in my body interfering with the brain of my being, with that inner wise self? Because the inner wise self is completely comfortable, is completely blended, where it's not me trying to prove anything. It's just love sharing through, using Tristan as its portal. And so I constantly am reminding myself to stay in that. And I went as far as to say to the group the last time we got together, hey guys, I just want to take a moment and just take a breath with you and be present, because I want to contribute that, not any kind of fear or trying to impress you. And so I came in again with that this time, and I'm getting to a place where my body is humming woo, 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 love, 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 and I feel so comfortable. And then what comes through, the share is like it is right now. It's just flow. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And I always love it at the end because I know, not that I'm needing this, but usually someone will say something like, dude, I freaking love when you share.
Yeah.
Or, oh my God, you always say you got nothing to say, but then you say that. You know, like I'm laughing because I'm tickled by God using me.
Yeah.
That's the bliss I'm talking about in the body.
And we train ourselves through just daily habits and repetition to hold on or to release. Now, there are, of course, we teach a lot of techniques and modalities and really drill down into how to do this, but in just simple ways to kind of make it a part of your daily practice that often you inhale the now and let go of anything you were holding on to that you didn't even know. Yeah, shapoopy.
The shapoopy.
You just inhale. And with just a couple of those, when you train it on repeat, as that's how you drop in, it drops in really fast. I've trained my brain to think that an inhale is the now and an exhale is the past when I need to drop in. And then it moves into both are just recycling. Doesn't make any sense, but recycling now. It's just presence and presence and it's receiving presence and giving back to presence. And that's how I ride the now in the melody of the music. And that's why it takes me, because the music is going up and it's so high and then it comes down. But I'm in the now the whole time. And it's so thrilling to listen to a beautiful piece of music when you are present to it. When you're like, I'm just going to ride it. It's amazing. Like Craig's music, Craig Young's music. When you're in the right frequency and the music is in the right frequency, that's such a beautiful marriage.
So releasing, now you shift away from releasing the, what do you call it, shapoopy? So you're not focusing on...
It's from a Broadway show called The Music Man.
Okay. From that Broadway show. You're not releasing the shapoopy.
Tonight's episode is based on The Music Man.
You're not releasing from that. You're releasing into the heart emoji. You're releasing into the light emoji. You're releasing into the love, right? So you're shifting away from what you don't want, and then you're focusing on what you love. And that shift is intention based.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I shared last night in that mastermind, is I said, the word that keeps coming to me is intention, which is like, what's the impetus behind anything I think, feel, or act upon? What is the driving motivator? What's the driving force? And I love that. I share a quick story with you guys. Years ago, I had a mentor that was helping me grow my dojo here in Austin, Texas. And No. And I was speaking to this person about wanting to have the biggest school and blah, blah, blah. Like, there was some ego there for sure. But I really wanted to do a good job, and I wanted to have great classes and awesome students and all of that. But I was going through, the stress part
You're so young.
I was a kiddo, yeah. I was like 23. And I was like, all about it. And I was really working hard. And so I was going through kind of the plan with this mentor and explaining it all to them. And they stopped me and they said, let me ask you, all this you're telling me, where are you coming from? Are you coming from a place of fear? Like, this is a long time ago. This might sound very 101 now, but this was huge for me.
Nothing's 101.
I guess not. Are you coming from fear, or are you coming from a place of love? Because right now I'm hearing about a lot of stress and worry, concern, and fear. And I was like, yeah, I am. I'm coming from a lot of fear. And he said, all you have to do is just shift into why you love this. What's the intent behind starting this school? I was like, I want to help people. I want to empower kids and girls, and just I want to do good. I want to pass on what my sensei gave me. He said, just focus on that. And ever since then, when we focus on what we love, we get that back.
And that's not 101 if we're 100 years old.
In our 20s is not 101,
so did
right,
I-
Nicole?
Did I say anything good at the meeting last night?
You went on a rant. I didn't even know what. Do you remember anything that you said?
No.
Uh-oh.
I know I was surprised, and it was like the second person. They were like, Sabrina. But that's okay. I'm so okay with that now.
You said funny stuff. I do remember the funny stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do
But you can't
remember
repeat that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yes, we can. This total tangent has nothing to do with the Trisbrina Show here. We interrupt this broadcast to tell you a funny story. So someone that's there has a very, very large email list and a very large company, and she was telling us about this glitch that she had with, let's just say it's an email provider, and this one person clicked a link and got 1 million copies of the autoresponder email.
1 million.
It got caught in the loop.
1 million.
And the price for sending those 1 million emails was $100,000. Anyway, and then somebody goes in this group of very sophisticated marketers. They said, "So what did the person do?" And I just
Sabrina
quietly
blurts
goes,
out.
"They unsubscribed." I don't know if you get that, but it's really freaking funny.
The other funny was there was this man, lovely entrepreneur, was talking about his little kid was getting in trouble at school because he had been spanking some of the girls on the bum.
And saying the F word.
The F word. And so when it was Sabrina's turn to share, she said, "Well, Tristan's been running around the house spanking me on the bum saying the F word."
Because I went right after him.
And so the timing of it was obviously hilarious. Thank you for the interruption.
Thank you. Okay.
Anyway.
And now, folks, back to the
releasing that
poopy.
So, releasing into love. Here's one other analogy that I've really enjoyed lately. I'll try to explain it a little bit visually. So in the martial art of Aikido, there's an exercise that the sensei does with the students called randori. And so randori is you put all the students around the person in the middle of a circle, and then those students rush at you. And the person in the middle, their job is to learn to stay in flow, not get in a reactive place, and sort of move aside and let the attack kind of defeat itself. And what I've been saying is that in my life, whenever I see something as a threat on the outside, and like, for example, our map, right? Those of you who know about the grade 8
That's a
in the
threat?
map. A threat?
You see the map as a threat?
Not the map, but I'll explain.
Okay.
You could see one of the areas. You are funny. Your relationship. You could see your business or your body or something, right, in the map. And you could go outside your center and grab onto it, right, and try to control it.
It's not going to work.
Fix it. What happens as you wrestle with that area of your life? It pulls you out of your center. And now you're all out in the weeds, wrestling this thing from an unbalanced place. So what do you have to do? Release it. And you naturally come back to center. That's the beauty of releasing, in my opinion. It naturally allows you to recalibrate to the inner wise self.
Yeah.
So stop leaving your center to fight and struggle. Let those things come to you, like in the Randori example, and then you love on them and heal them within your own energy system. Clear the issues from the tissues. Upgrade the mind and the body. Tap into the bliss body. And then send love. That, to me, is how you upgrade your life. Oh, upgrading life.
No.
We have a workshop coming up.
Oh.
Did you want to talk about it?
It hadn't occurred to me.
Oh, is it not time? Too soon?
Too soon. Because I was just thinking about a raunchy little example
Don't be raunchy.
of how uncomfortable it is not to release something that you're ready to release.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
You going to talk about
No.
I don't even know what the URL is.
Oh, I don't either.
Are you serious? We have nothing for you. No, we had a workshop. We were going to share it with everybody. I'll have to go and find the link.
I'll go find it. No, I was just actually thinking when he was saying, like, you're holding on to it, you're holding on to it. If you just, like, stop making a big deal out of it and let it go. And it just reminded me of all the times in my life that I've judged certain bodily functions as bad. And there is an appropriate time, like for flatulence and things like that. But sometimes, like, we are so full of shame.
I thought you were going to say something else. We're so full of
Oh, no. So full of shame and holding on to these things. And then sometimes you just let it go because it wants to come out. The discomfort and the cramping or whatever it is, it's gone. And that just kind of feels like sometimes when we're holding on to things that we are done with. It is time to let it go, get it out. It's been there too long, right? It's just release it and get on with our lives with no shame about it. There's nothing shameful about letting go of something that doesn't belong in us, with us, as part of our issues anymore.
So good.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. How's the show been for you so far? What are your insights? What are your takeaways? What's changed for you? And in the meantime, I do have a link for you. Liberate. What does that spell?
Liberate.
Liberate. So the link is
hard to spell.
It is not that hard. Anyway, I've already made it for you.
Okay.
So it's satorimethod.com/liberate. And that
You just made that on the fly.
I'm so good at this. But don't look at this link for a second, because that's not it. Uh-oh.
Don't think of monkeys.
LIB.
Okay, I'll go ahead and tell you what's happening.
There.
So we just did a 3-day event. I know a lot of you watching this saw it, and it was fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
And it was called Alive and Thrive, and people loved it. But only the people that purchased a ticket or had a ticket for some other reason, it was bonus to them, got to participate. And so we picked like 3 things that we think were 3 of the many favorites, and we're putting them together into a free workshop that we're going to give to everyone, the whole public.
The whole world.
And you can attend live, you can join us through Facebook or YouTube. And the 3 areas that we're going to cover is we're going to dive into heart healing Qigong, healing the heart from things that maybe grief, sadness, anxiety, loneliness, and then opening it up to more clarity, more positivity, and more connection to inner guidance. Then we're going to have a section on fascia, getting that fascia fit and stretching it in gentle ways. And then the third is we're going to talk about the cycle of vibration, how thoughts and feelings and actions and outcome are all interrelated. When are we going to do it? We're going to do it Monday, the 17th at 1 p.m. Central, 11 a.m. Pacific, and 7 p.m. in London.
Wow.
So it's totally free.
Man, you know
and it's
all
Monday. And if you register, there's a 24-hour replay.
You're so amazing on remembering all that. Well, there's your link.
I know stuff.
satorimethod.com/liberate.
See, I release, so there's lots of room to remember.
You're so good. We're going to liberate your life force.
Can you move that for me?
Sure. All right. Wrestling unconsciously is crazy. Didn't even know I was constipated. That's must have been earlier. I think that one was from.
Kathy said.
Read that one
Kathy
now.
said, "I'm thinking that I'm sorry I just got here."
It was a good one, Kathy. We've been laughing at ourselves quite a bit. All right, kids. So on this beautiful Thursday.
Oh, I do want to say, if you have somebody, a friend, a family member that you want to sort of see, like stuff that you're doing that's helping. Like we got an email from a woman, I didn't show it to you yet. And she said that she's been having this pain in her hips and her back. And from some of the fascia stuff that we did at the 3-day event, she's already feeling a relief.
This works. Works
So,
really well.
We'll email you the link. It'll be wherever you're watching this. We'll put it in the post. If you want to share it with someone, they don't need to be in the dojo. They don't have to have attended Alive and Thrive. Everybody can come to this. It'll go like 65, 70 minutes.
I'm trying to figure out how to fix these effects. Oh, here we go. While you guys are here, we'll do it on the fly. Let's try. No, it's still black. I'm trying to get your text to be white, guys. Oh well, another time. Okay.
Well, thank you for your. Well, at least read it.
It says, sounds like a great Monday. Wait, it was funny. Doug said, so funny today. A real
Toot.
I mean hoot. What time on Monday? 1 o'clock Central. That's 11 a.m. Pacific, and 2 o'clock
7.
Eastern, and 7 o'clock in London if you live in London.
6, whatever that Greenwich thing is. I need some education.
You need to release and tap your genius.
Meow.